Okay, so job hunting, it can feel like, you're sending your resume into a black hole, right?
Yeah, it's rough out there.
You put in all that work and then crickets. You've been looking into this RoleCatcher thing, though. They say they've got AI on their side.
Right. And they're really leaning into this idea of beating the system, like those applicant tracking systems, the ATS, that a lot of companies use these days.
Because everyone's heard the horror stories.
Oh, yeah. You spend hours perfecting your resume, and then a robot's like, nope, before a human even glances at it. RoleCatcher's pitch is that they're your secret weapon to get past those gatekeepers.
So how do they, actually do that? What's the magic solution they're offering?
Well, they've got this whole suite of tools, kind of like a one-stop shop for job seekers. They talk about centralizing everything, your applications, your contacts, your research notes even. Plus, they've got this browser extension so you can save jobs from different sites.
Okay, so that's handy, staying organized. But where does the AI come in?
So their free plan seems pretty basic, mostly those organizational tools we talked about. But then there's this RoleCatcher Copilot AI. That's where things get interesting.
Copilot AI, huh? Sounds fancy.
It is, or at least they want it to sound that way. They say it can tailor your resume and cover letters, actually analyze the job description to figure out what skills you need to highlight.
So no more generic resumes then. Everyone says you need to tailor it.
Exactly, and they're claiming to automate that process with AI. Plus, get this, they even say it can give you feedback on practice interview videos.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like having an AI career coach in your computer.
That's their pitch. But, the big question is, how good is this AI really?
Hmm.
Is it as smart as they're making it sound?
Right, because sometimes those AI things, they sound amazing, but then when you actually try them...
It could be a letdown. Like,
Yeah.
is it truly understanding the nuances of your experience and the job requirements? Or is it just doing some fancy keyword matching? That's what we need to figure out.
It's like those AI image generators. Some of them can create amazing original artwork, and some of them just kind of blend existing pictures together.
Yeah, and you don't know until you try it.
Yeah.
And this interview feedback thing, that's a whole other level.
Analyzing how you answer questions, that's kind of wild.
It is, and a little unnerving, honestly. Like, are we ready to trust AI with something as personal and high stakes as a job interview?
Okay, so before we go full Black Mirror on this, let's back up a bit. They also mentioned this huge database they have, like 9 million employers or something.
Yeah, they make a big deal about that, 9 million. But a huge database doesn't mean much if you can't actually use it effectively.
Right, it's got to be more than just a list. What can you actually do with that information?
That's what I want to know. Can you filter by industry, location, company size, company culture even? Do they give you insights you wouldn't find just browsing LinkedIn, for example?
Because if they can actually back up those claims of, beating the system, that would be huge.
It would be a game changer, but we need to see the evidence. One thing that caught my eye, though, is their career guides section. They claim to have over 3,000 of them.
3,000. Okay, so they're not just focusing on software engineers and data scientists then.
Right. It seems like they're trying to cover a pretty diverse range of industries and roles. In fact, they even have a guide for, wait for it, a leather goods quality control technician.
A what? Seriously?
Yeah, a leather goods quality control technician.
Okay, now that's specific. You don't see that every day.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what kind of information are they providing for such a niche job? It could be a good way to see if they're really digging deep or just scratching the surface.
Leather goods, who knew? It's like a whole other world.
Right. And according to RoleCatcher, this isn't your grandma's sewing circle. We're talking high-tech materials, lab tests, the whole 9 yards.
So it's not just about, checking for loose threads.
Nope. Think more like ensuring the durability of a luxury handbag, making sure it can withstand, years of wear and tear. It's about protecting the brand's reputation, really.
Okay, so high stakes.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher actually gets into the nitty-gritty of this.
They do. They talk about how important it is to understand leather itself, like the different types, the tanning processes, potential weaknesses.
So you need to be a leather expert.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They even suggest taking courses in leather technology and manufacturing, which makes sense, right?
Yeah, if you're going to stand out to a recruiter, especially in a specialized field like this.
You need to know your stuff. It goes back to that whole beating the algorithm thing. Show them you've got the specialized knowledge.
Speaking of algorithms, though, do you think RoleCatcher used AI to write this guide? I mean, it's pretty comprehensive.
It's a good question. It's hard to say for sure, but the guide does connect the dots really well, between the technical aspects of the job and the skills you need to be successful.
And they even give you sample interview questions tailored to this specific role, which is cool.
Yeah. Like, can you describe a time when you identified a quality issue with a leather product and how you resolved it? You wouldn't find that in a generic interview prep book.
That's actually really helpful, though. Like, it makes you think about those situations in advance.
Exactly. It's about anticipating the questions and having strong answers ready.
They don't shy away from the, like, not so glamorous parts of the job either, which I appreciate.
Right. Like, they mention potential exposure to chemicals, the repetitive nature of some tasks. They're not sugarcoating it.
It's about being realistic. So this leather goods deep dive, it's been surprisingly eye-opening. It makes you wonder if they can do this for leather goods.
Imagine what their AI could do for other industries.
Right. If they can bring this level of detail to their resume analysis and interview prep, that would be huge.
Absolutely. But the question is, can they? This case study gives us a glimpse of their potential, but we need to see how those AI features perform in the real world.
Okay, so enough about leather for now. Let's get back to those core features. They made a big deal about having, like, 120,000 interview questions in their database.
Yeah, 120,000. It's almost an absurd number.
It's like, how could you possibly prepare for all of that?
That's where they say the AI comes in. They claim it can categorize those questions by career path and even predict which ones you're most likely to be asked based on the job description.
Okay, so it's like having a cheat sheet for your interview.
Kind of. But even with targeted questions, practicing is still crucial. And that's where their video practice feature comes in.
Right, because just reading the questions isn't the same as actually saying the answers out loud.
Exactly. They encourage you to record yourself answering these practice questions, which, let's be honest, can feel a little awkward at first.
Oh, for sure. But it's got to be helpful, right? Seeing yourself on camera, I mean.
Incredibly helpful. It helps you identify those little things you might not even realize you're doing, like nervous habits, bad posture.
It's like having a mirror, but for, like, your interview persona.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher doesn't stop there. They take it a step further with their AI feedback on those practice videos.
Oh, right. They mentioned that. So it's not just recording yourself, it's getting, like, notes from the AI.
Yep. And this is where things get really, really interesting. They say their AI analyzes not just what you're saying, but how you're saying it. Your tone of voice, how fast you're talking, even your facial expressions.
Wait, seriously? It can tell if you're, like, frowning too much or something.
That's the claim. It's like having an AI interview coach giving you personalized pointers on everything from your body language to your delivery.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's a little intimidating. Imagine getting feedback on every little thing you do.
I know, right? But think of it this way. Wouldn't you rather work out those kinks in a safe space with an AI than in front of a hiring manager who's deciding whether or not to give you a job?
Yeah, when you put it like that,
Yeah.
it makes sense. I mean, everyone gets nervous in interviews.
Hmm.
If this can help people feel more confident, that's huge.
Absolutely. And not just more confident, but better prepared.
Right.
Because it's one thing to know the right answers, but it's another to actually deliver them in a way that's compelling and authentic.
Right, like no one wants to sound like a robot reciting memorized answers.
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting about this AI feedback. They say it can analyze your answers in the context of the job description, so it can tell you if you're hitting the right notes, so to speak.
So it's tailoring its feedback to each specific job you're applying for.
That's the idea. It's about helping you craft responses that resonate with that particular company, that align with their values and culture.
Because at the end of the day, it's about standing out from the crowd. Right.
Exactly. And in a competitive job market, any edge you can get is invaluable.
So, wow. We've covered a lot of ground here, from AI-powered resume tailoring to this whole world of interview prep with a virtual coach. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. This RoleCatcher thing, it's definitely pushing the boundaries of what technology can do. But the big question is it the future of job hunting?
Right, because technology is one thing, but it's up to us, the humans, to decide how we want to use it.
Exactly. And whether we're ready to embrace this AI-powered future.
Well, one thing's for sure, the job search landscape is changing. And tools like this, they're either going to be incredibly helpful or, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
That's the exciting part, isn't it? The possibilities, the potential. It's a brave new world out there.
It is. This has been really thought-provoking. So for all of you out there navigating the job search, we'll leave you with this. What if AI could be your secret weapon? The tools are out there. The question is, are you ready to use them? This is The Deep Dive, signing off until next time.